beautiful day here in Houston, 3rd Ward, Texas, and I have a lot of interesting things to report today in sports. Some of the things aren't good, as you know I'm a homer, and so I have some negative things from my family, from the Tiger Nation, but you know, we have to take the good with the bad and the bad with the good. But before I get going, let me say a couple of things that I really want to thank all of my listening audience for hanging in there with me as my numbers grow. I want to give you an experience I had at the Prairie View TSU Labor Day Classic. And by the way, wonderful turnout. I was approaching the stadium and I had several people approach me and say, "Look, aren't you Fat Larry with Sports Talk with Fat Larry?" And I was like, "Yes, I am." And they were like, "You told us to come fill the stands, and that's what we're doing." So I really appreciate everyone that showed up at the game, definitely those that talked to me and let me know that you're out there in the listening audience. It is greatly appreciated. I want to continue to try to help the HBCUs, mainly TSU, PV, our sister school, but what we're really doing is trying to put emphasis on supporting the HBCUs. So once again, I want to thank everyone that showed up at the game, and really those that recognize me, make me feel real good about what I'm doing. And I want you to continue to listen, because we got another couple of big things going on I'm going to be letting you guys know about. Texas Southern is going to be traveling to Denton, Texas this weekend to play University of North Texas. And the following week they're going to be traveling to Arlington to play Southern University. So continue to listen and we'll give you updates. But I really want to thank you guys to continue to watch and listen to the show. Now there's one other thing I want you now to do to step up to the next level. I want you to hit that like button, that share button, and share it with some friends. And number one thing I want you to do this week is hit the subscribe button. I'm very close to being where we'll be able to be subsidized with some sponsors to continue the program. If you like the program, as a lot of you guys have told me and showed me as my numbers have increased, I really would appreciate it if you would hit the subscription. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. It doesn't cost a thing. I had a few people tell me, what does it cost? It does not cost you anything. This is YouTube. So it's free, absolutely free. Hit the subscribe button. There aren't a zillion questions for you to answer or anything of that nature. So I would greatly appreciate it if you would hit that subscribe button, that like button, and that share button. Spread the word with your friends and family and let them know about the show that we produce and how you like it and what it's aimed at. Because sometimes when people know what your program is aimed at, like what we are aiming at the HBCU audience, that turns them on. I want to give a shout out to my sponsors, Rose Gold Deluxe Spa, Womack Development Company and Realtor, and Morgan & Associates Dental. So without further ado, let's get off into some sports. You know, I bought the Kool-Aid family last week about us playing Prairie View. We were ready to make that giant leap, but I found out, family, that, you know, it was all a hoax. What did Biggie say? It was all a dream. That's what it was with me with TSU playing PV. I just knew for sure we had them where we wanted them, and Prairie View did a fantastic job and doing what they did best, and that was running the ball. A lot of times coaches can out-coach themselves. They can out-coach themselves. And what Prairie View did, and I liked, is that they ran 2 plays the whole game and made 400 yards of production running on the ground. It was truly amazing to us how we couldn't stop it. But one more time, kudos go out to Prairie View for understanding that, hey, if they can't stop it, let's keep running it. And that's exactly what they did. Did not complete a pass. I want my listening audience, someone out there, to hit me up on fatlarrypodcast@gmail.com. Do a little background check, fatlarrypodcast@gmail.com, and let me know if that has ever happened on the FCS standings where a football team gained 400 yards on another football team, won the game without throwing a pass. Please let me know. Go to fatlarrypodcast@gmail.com. Now, also while we're doing this, I want you guys to go to fatlarrypodcast.com to purchase the T-shirts. The T-shirts are a great help. We have people that come in and buy the T-shirts, but we really need everyone. We have maroon, we have gray. So if you're following the Tigers, you can support the Tigers and me at the same time with your Sports Talk with Fat Larry T-shirts. So we're asking that you also help us with that. But without further ado, first of all, I want to, as last week was progressing to the game, you know, I know a lot of preview people from my business, and so a little wager was done, not monetarily, but I have to get on the show today and apologize for thinking that Texas Southern was going to beat Prairie View. And I am a man of my word, so I apologize, BP. I thought Texas Southern could beat Prairie View. I thought this was our year, but you got me right again in that one more time, as you told me, I was drinking the Kool-Aid and it wasn't ready. So I apologize to my PV followers, but we're going to get better. We're going to get better. And first of all, let me go off into the game. I've already started telling you how they beat us without completing a pass. Now, let me give you some grades for our team. I predicate this show on keeping it real. When I first started a little over a year ago, if people were watching the show, they understand that I told everyone, I'm going to keep it real on this show. And so, keeping it real on this show, I'm talking about our team right now. Our offensive line gets a D. Wow, we look so good coming out on the field. And let me tell my producer, Shayla, we look so good coming on the field. We had 265, 266 tackles, 6'5" guards, and I just knew we were going to run them in the ground. But Prairie View's defensive linemen were going right around our guys just like they wasn't there. So our offensive line gets a D. Our running backs get a C. Number 22 did a fantastic job when he was in the game for Texas Southern. But our running back game, which one more time depends on the offensive lineman again, showed flashes, but we didn't do it consistently. So they get a C. In the quarterback spot, anyone that has ever listened to this show knows how I love Andrew Body. I thought he was a godsend for the Tigers because we have not had a dual threat in forever. And so, but one more time, I'm going to keep it real. Andrew, when he would drop back, had to run for his life. So I'm going to put that out there first. You know, there wasn't a whole bunch of protection going on. But last year, that's what made him. He could make something out of nothing. Now, there was some discussion after the game with some people that said that, well, maybe they had a spy on him whenever he would break out. But, you know, this is an adjustment he's going to have to make because he's still a young guy. But Andrew, I was just waiting and waiting and waiting for Andrew to put his footprint on the game. But when he would drop back, he did not have an opportunity to. But last year when he would drop back and he didn't have an opportunity to make something happen, he would do it with his legs. We couldn't even get it done that way the other night. So I look for improvement from him. I have no doubt that Andrew is going to take care of whatever he needs to do to get it done the next game. That is never in doubt. But in giving grades, I have to keep it real. So I gave the quarterback a C. And the only reason why it wasn't worse is that it's kind of hard, me being back in the day playing the position, it's kind of hard to throw a completed pass if you're on the run all the time. So let's go to the defensive side. The defensive line gets a D minus. Only reason why I didn't give them an F is starting in the fourth quarter, they started to pick it up a little bit. But the defensive line had 2 plays, gained 400 yards against them. They had to dive with the different running backs to the left and to the right, and occasionally the quarterback would keep it, which was one of the touchdowns. He faked the dive, went to the left, and outran the whole secondary. That can't happen either. You got to be able to run down the quarterback. So the defensive line gets a D minus. The linebackers get a D simply because of what I just said. One more time. They were running 2 plays. Running back to the left of the center, to the right of the center. So if they got past the defensive line, the linebackers were meeting them 7-8 yards down the field. But that's not going to work. Because the next play they get 8 yards, that's a first down. And that's exactly what was going on. They were just rolling down the field on us. And I didn't get a good feel after the first quarter. I said, it looks like the same thing was happening last year where the defense just could not hold water. They could not hold it. The linebackers gets a D. The cornerbacks get a C because I didn't like the fact that the running backs and the quarterback outran them, not simply because of speed. A lot of times the DBs had took the wrong angles at the running back and the quarterback. And me and another gentleman in the stands saw a guy miss the quarterback when we both said at the same time, he took the wrong angle. Quarterback ran right by him. So the cornerbacks get the C, and with young Hamilton, Isaiah Hamilton intercepting 2 passes, he helped them get that C also. He played great, and returning 1 for a touchdown. And so overall, the defense gets a D, the offense gets a D, coaching on defense gets a D minus, coaching on offense gets a C minus. I gave them a C minus only because sporadically a few of the running plays were successful. And one more time, going back to sometimes coaches can out-coach themselves. I think on a few situations on 3rd down, we called a few plays that if we'd have ran the ball with 22, that's just my opinion, on the dive that he was doing, because he was picking up 3 to 4 yards. And a couple plays that could have sustained our momentum was 2 and 3 yards needed, and I think he could have got it if we'd have ran the ball. But for some reason, we did an option on one, and we dropped back to pass on another, and that did not help because whenever we dropped back once again, Andrew was running for his life. So we have to get those things shored up. I think one more time, it's too early to give up on your Tigers family. I want to see what the next 2 games look like. Actually, I want to see what they look like against University of North Texas. North Texas won last week, but I think Texas Southern should be able to be representable, though. The defense was just atrocious last week. But I'm a Tiger fan, and as I've eaten crow already with a PVI, I'm going to pump my guys up again, saying that if they just put their mind to the grindstone and do what's necessary. You know, I saw a few of the guys, me and in the stands, guys were looking at the players about how when the bands are playing, they're dancing. I know Coach McKinney is a cool-headed, not boisterous type coach, but I don't think there was nothing to dance about on the stands when you're getting ran up and down the field. And also players making mistakes. We were fortunate enough that on the kickoff, opening bell of the game, we had a guy running in for a touchdown. But we had a bonehead mistake on about the 20-yard line, a guy threw a block that wasn't even necessary because the running back or the kickoff return guy was already past. And that was a time to let somebody know that, what are you doing? Then there was a time when the defensive linemen, and linebackers, and cornerbacks were missing assignment. You got to let guys know that that's not acceptable. And one more time, I know he doesn't rant and rave, but hey, put your arms around him. You don't have to rant and rave, and let him know that that's not acceptable. So I spent enough time on TSU and preview. Let me go to some other classics. Texas Southern one more time plays University of North Texas and Denton, Texas Saturday. If you're in the Dallas area, because once again I have people that listen to me in the Dallas area and Fort Worth area, go to the game in Denton. You know, show your support for the Tigers. I'm sure they can't do nothing but get better. So let me talk about some other classics that went on amongst the HBCUs. One more time, I do more than them SWAC. I do also MEAC, SIAC, CIAA. So let's get some scores. Game results. The big game of the last weekend was Jackson State playing FAMU. These were my top two picks in the SWAC. And Jackson State showed me that they for real Saturday. Coach Prime, I need not say anything because once again, if you've listened to this show before, you know what I think about Coach Prime. I think he has everything that is needed in a coach to get Jackson State up to a level that's going to be unbelievable. FCS, I'm looking at Jackson State maybe ruling the FCS, and you talking about teams like Eastern Washington, Sam Houston State, Montana State, South Dakota, and North Dakota. Pretty soon these teams are going, they're not in a position to be battling North Dakota and South Dakota right now, but it won't take long for Coach Prime. And Sha'Carri, I want to give him his flowers. He had a great game because if you've heard me on this show, I always have thought that Andrew, with what he had, did more than what Sha'Carri had last year. But Sha'Carri showed me this year that he's for real. And one more time, I'm actually never going to give up on my boy Andrew Body because I expect better from him. That's why I'm feeling like this. So we got Jackson State beat FAMU in the Orange Blossom Classic, 49-3. And I mean, they put it on them. Then you had the MEAC Duke Mayo Classic in North Carolina, where you have North Carolina Central defeated North Carolina A&T 28-13. Rivalry game. As I tell everybody, North Carolina A&T was picked to win. Tell everybody, rivalry games it doesn't matter what the records are because guys are going to play over their heads anyway. So North Carolina Central had a great showing this past week. We had Coach Dooley up in Southern University won his first game in Baton Rouge. They beat Florida Memorial 86-0. And another classic, we had the Black College Football Hall of Fame game between Central State of Ohio. They beat Winston-Salem State of CIAA 41-21. They have Labor Day Classic. We were beaten by Prairie View. They had the MEAC SWAC Challenge 2 weeks ago, where Alabama State beat Howard University. Good game, but Alabama State came through. Coach Robinson is a new coach over at, Eddie Robinson Jr. is a new coach over at Alabama State. And before they played Howard, he showed a lot of confidence in saying that, look, we're taking this game very seriously because the MEAC has kind of dominated the SWAC in the last 7 years. And him being a former SWAC player and played at Alabama State felt like they should not be beating the SWAC. And he predicted they were going to win, and that's what Alabama State did. So we want to give Coach Robinson his flowers for a wonderful start. And we forgot to tell Coach McDowell, give him his flowers for a wonderful start at PV. So then we had One other classic, we had Virginia Union beat Virginia Lynchburg 77-0. Tennessee State. Now Tennessee State lost this game, but Tennessee State lost to Eastern Washington. Eastern Washington a few years ago were playing for the national championship in the FCS. So Tennessee State had a great showing. So I'm sure that Eddie George is a little disappointed that they lost, but they were competing and right there against Eastern Washington and played them in Eastern Washington. Then you have, let me go through the other SWAC schools. You had Arkansas State beat Grambling. You had UAPB beat Lane College. Miami throttled Bethune-Cookman. And when these schools such as Bethune-Cookman, Texas Southern, Grambling, and whoever else play these major schools, you know, I'm not looking for the score to be 30-31. I just want you to be representable and be in the game for a little while. So Bethune-Cookman scored 13 points against the University of Miami. Alabama State, their second win, beat Miles. Stephen F. Austin beat Alcorn. Now, Alcorn was in the game right up to the end. So that's what I'm saying. UAPB, University of Alabama, Birmingham, UAB, beat Alabama A&M 59-0. Tarleton State of Texas beat Mississippi Valley. So that's your rundown on the SWAC games and scores. And as I always tell everybody, this upcoming week, if there is a SWAC game in your area, please try to attend it, because the universities need all the help they can get. Okay? Now let me go over a few SWAC honors. Offense, Sha'Carri, 323 yards and 5 touchdown passes. Great game. Defense, Matthews from Grambling had 12 tackles. Specialist, the kid named Lloyd out of UAPB had 4 kickoff returns for 187 yards. Then you had the newcomer, was Howard out of Alcorn, had 199 yards on the ground. So those are your SWAC players of the week. We're going to go off into other sports right now, and I want to talk about Serena Williams this past week, going into the 3rd round, which I feel like was a great achievement. Serena's going to be 41 soon. And you could just see it. I could anyway. I don't know if anyone else could, but I could see it that it looked like a few of those shots the young lady hit where other players would attempt, Serena just couldn't even go toward the ball. And I know she's in shape, but being in shape and being 41 versus her opponent being in shape and being 20 is different. So Serena has nothing to feel bad about going to the 3rd round, which was fantastic, because I think she's already solidified that comparison of who is the greatest of all time. I know there's a few whispers out there from other tennis players of other dissension. I think it was Margaret Court talking about that she don't think that she is, but hey, the record speaks for itself. Then we have one black female tennis player still left in the U.S. Open, and that's Coco Gauff. And she's the youngest player still left, 18 years old. And something that I think is so fantastic, we have a black gentleman of African descent, which I'm going to go into detail on him because this is a good story. Francis Tiafoe. Francis is Tiafoe or Tiafoe. So if I butchered his name, I'm sorry, but I am really proud of this young man. He defeated Rafael Nadal. Let me say that one more time. He defeated Rafael Nadal. This guy, when he loses, it's like you can't believe it. So he defeated him, and which breaks the 22 win streak he had in the Grand Slam. So no small feat. And this kid is 24 years old. Let me give you a little story on it. Let me read, make sure my glasses on. Now, before I do that, one more time, hit that like button, that share button, and I'm asking everyone to please hit that subscribe button to help the show be able to sustain itself. My sponsors look at the subscription, and if you subscribe, which is free, it helps us to keep the show going at the quality level that it is now. You don't see me walking around with a cell phone in my face, none of that nature. This is a production, and we would like to keep it that way because we get great remarks from everyone saying the show looks really great. Few people thought that as the show was coming along, it was ESPN. I wish, brother, I was on ESPN making that kind of money, but no, it's not ESPN. So please help us out by hitting the subscription button. And another way you can help us out one more time is go to fatlarrypodcast.com and get a t-shirt or a hoodie. Let everyone know that you watched the show, because as I said at the beginning of the show, I was truly amazed and happy as people were walking up telling me, saying that, "Aren't you Fat Larry? I see your show. I heard you say, let's come fill the stands." It made me feel good. Not because they recognized me, which it did, but also the fact that people heard me say, let's back these universities, come to the game. And let me remind you, listening audience, there was rain going on initially at that game. Did not stop the fans from coming and packing the stands. When the game finally started after an hour delay, no more rain. So it was really a great experience. So I really want my listening audience, one more time, fatlarrypodcast.com, get your hoodie and your t-shirt. Also, hit the subscribe button. We really need you to do that. Also, this kid, parents left Sierra Leone in Africa, came to Maryland. His dad worked, and I'm talking about, excuse me, because I did stop and start talking about something else. I'm talking about Francis Tiafoe, the tennis player that beat Rafael Nadal yesterday, Monday. Today is Tuesday, the 6th. So his father, they relocated to Maryland, and Dad worked as a laborer where they did construction, building tennis courts and tennis centers. So after he built one in Maryland, he was offered the job of a caretaker for the facility. And it was there that his twin sons, so Francis has a brother that is his twin. And they would stop by and play regularly at the tennis facility because they may would be helping their dad and what have you, keeping it clean and neat and what have you. And so that's how they basically started hitting balls and learning how to play tennis. And at the age of 15, he won one of his first big tournaments at the Orange Bowl in Miami. And from there, you know, he's been on the track to become a professional tennis player. So I told you this story to let you know how it takes hard work. You have to grind. You know, no pain, no gain. Nothing is just, you start doing it and you start receiving all the accolades and the rewards and the payoff. No, you have to grind and learn your craft and become good at it. And this kid has done that. So I'm looking for him, hopefully that this will give him a boost to get to the finals. And because if he gets to the finals from here on, the sky's going to be the limit for him. I think after he beat Rafael Nadal, he's been to 4 quarterfinals and lost to Rafael. He finally beat him. Mr. Womack is the broker and president and CEO of Womack Development Investment Realtors, a private minority-owned full-service commercial and residential real estate brokerage firm. Over the years, he has been known to be a respected community businessman and partner and has received many awards. Now, he sells real estate everywhere, but this specialty is right here in 3rd Ward. This guy can get it taken care of for you. Okay, we're going to go into college football other than HBCU. I'm going to give you something quick on this. University of Houston won here in H-Town. They beat University of Texas San Antonio Rice lost to University of Southern California. So only one of the Houston schools won, and that was University of Houston. Number one listed in the top 10, real quick, Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, all three of them won. Oklahoma, Michigan, Notre Dame. Now Notre Dame is number 6 and they lost. I don't know why Notre Dame keeps getting notoriety. Well, I do know, because the powers that be keep them in that position. But Notre Dame is number 6 with a loss. Everybody else in the top 10 won. Texas A&M, Baylor number 8, USC is number 9, and Arkansas is 10. Also, family, I want to remind you, as you've watched this show, you've seen my advertisers. If you are interested in becoming an advertiser on the show, contact me at fatlarrypodcast@gmail.com. fatlarrypodcast@gmail.com, and give me your name, telephone number, and information when you send it, and we can work something out. You know, you can get 2 shows, 4 shows, 6 shows, any way you want to do it. So that would be of great help to the program. One more time, we're trying to keep this up at a high level. So we really appreciate anyone that might be interested in advertising with us. So now we're going to go to the NFL. In the East, it hasn't started. It starts this weekend. I'm going to give you my predictions. In the AFC East, I got Buffalo Bills. In the North, I have Baltimore Ravens / Cincinnati Bengals. I think the Bengals are for real, but Baltimore is tough every year. Tennessee Titans to pick to win the South, where the Houston Texans are. In the West, I got Kansas City Chiefs. With maybe, just maybe, the Raiders and San Diego having something to say, but I still got the Kansas City Chiefs. In the East, we have the Cowboys. I picked the Cowboys simply because you got the Washington Commanders, you got Philadelphia Eagles, you got the New York Giants. You know, it was just the best of the worst. I just picked the Cowboys. North, I got Green Bay. NFC South, I got Tampa Bay. And NFC West, I got the Rams. And in the Super Bowl, I got the Bills playing the Rams. I don't think that Tampa Bay will get by. Well, who did they get by? I got the Rams, okay. Somebody in Cincinnati. I don't think Cincinnati or whoever comes out of the West, AFC, will be able to handle the Buffalo Bills. Okay, in the NBA, just a couple of things. Donovan Mitchell from the Utah Jazz is now a Cleveland Cavalier. Donovan Mitchell of the Utah Jazz is now a Cleveland Cavalier. And I say that, family, because no one, even me, expected him to go to Cleveland. You heard about the Knicks, you heard about Miami, you heard about Brooklyn. There were a lot of places that you heard about that you thought would be the ones that would pick him, but it was Cleveland. It just goes to show you, if you got the money, these guys will consider coming to play with you. And what I want to tell the public is that, look, Cleveland has a pretty good team. They were just young. He might be the missing link. They got a great guard. They got a great young forward. They got a deep bench. And so I look for Cleveland to be tough next year with Donovan Mitchell. So Donovan Mitchell goes to the Cavs. Sha'Carri, Richardson. Someone told me that, hey, you got to report the good with the bad. We've been on top of her for not doing anything and talking smack to the Jamaicans, and they've been roasting her. But she won her first European Pro 100-meter dash last week when she beat Elaine Thompson. She nicked her out. Maybe this will give her the confidence to continue to work hard, keep her mouth closed, and just do her thing. You know, you don't have to keep your mouth closed and talking to people, but don't talk no smack until you start winning some races. I mean, pro races. You won in college, but this is a different animal here. So, and I think she can do it. you know, she's just young, and I think she can do it. But kudos out to her. She won her first pro 100 meter track meet. Okay? Now, we're going to go to baseball. What we're going to look at is the Astros are leading the West, and the Yankees are leading the East with Tampa Bay Rays right in behind them. And I say that because I still think the Yankees will win, but Tampa Bay should become a wild card. And the Astros have been playing them for the last 2 or 3 years, and that's going to be a tough out, Tampa Bay. But I think the Astros and the Yankees will play for the American League, and I think the Dodgers and St. Louis Cardinals. That's right, St. Louis Cardinals. No one's talking about the St. Louis Cardinals, but I think the Dodgers and the St. Louis Cardinals will play for the National League to represent in the World Series. And quite naturally, I'm going to go with the Astros over the Dodgers, because I think the Dodgers are the team to beat. Period. Not the Yankees, I think the Dodgers are the team to beat. And so I want to send out a special hello to one of my classmates, Earl Jackson, in my hometown of Waco. Yeah, this guy has followed me since day one. He does whatever we ask: T-shirts, hoodies, subscription, donation to the program. He does it. And so we just want to wish him a speedy recovery, and also that he continues to stay positive, and let him know that there are a lot of us out here pulling for him. And we love you. Also, family, do not forget that we really need your help on keeping the program at the level of production that it is. Not only have I been asking you to hit that subscribe button, but I've been asking you to come out and get a beautiful t-shirt like this. Go to fatlarrypodcast.com. Got all sizes, colors. Get you a t-shirt and a hoodie. We have hoodies and t-shirts. And we are saying this because we think that this will keep the program at a high level. And this is the only way we want to present it to you. So with that said, we'd like to wish everybody a great week. Do not forget to go out and support your HBCUs this upcoming weekend. That means Prairie View Panthers, that means Texas Southern Tigers. Go to your school's games and support them. Peace out.